A 64-year-old man named Hannibal Hernandez Santana has been arrested as the suspect in the shooting that led to an investigation here at ABC 10 in Sacramento along Broadway. And as the sun has risen this morning, you can see for yourself plywood over one of the windows in the lobby there. Now, earlier in the day on Friday, police were called here in response to shots fired from outside the ABC 10's building. No one was injured despite the building being occupied at the time. 3 bullet holes were seen in the window on the building's lobby, and that's when the investigation began. Later the same day, KCRA3 saw police in the River Park neighborhood, including SWAT teams. A witness at the scene reported seeing a man tackled and then taken into custody. Sacramento police thanked the FBI for providing resources in its investigation and have asked anyone with further information to contact their department.
There are consequences to the lies that have been told on the internet, and now people are outraged and saying that it's a threat to democracy and free speech. Jimmy Kimmel's show was cancelled, has no business to do with the government, it has no business to do with politics, solely for business reasons. That was why it was cancelled. It's so unfortunate that you all now remembers that free speech is meant to be free, and you all now are crying on free speech. A life was snatched away because of free speech, and is that okay by you? Was that even right? So if a show could be cancelled, why is the whole world crying out loud? I don't get it. Let's see this video together.
And this is just the latest chapter in Donald Trump's ongoing campaign to crack down on free speech, dominate the media, and essentially render the First Amendment meaningless. So it was for the journeyman cable news host Tucker Carlson, just fired from his third network. He believed he could say anything, no matter how vile, no matter how disgusting, no matter how offensive, no matter how dehumanizing or belittling. And if you act like a sociopath over and over and over and over, you will become unpopular on the national stage. That's just like a basic principle. Over time, probably not going to work out well for you in the long run. Eventually, people will be rightly offended, disgusted.
It's reported Kimmel planned to respond to the controversy on his show Wednesday. Reports say he spoke to Disney executives about his prepared monologue for Wednesday's show, but they worried it would only inflame the situation. The decision to pull the show further fueled by concerns over threats to Kimmel and his staff. But by then, Nexstar, the country's largest local broadcasting group, had already announced it would preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live after FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, a Trump appointee, appeared to threaten broadcasters who failed to, quote, take action against Kimmel. Nexstar is currently seeking FCC approval for a $6.2 billion merger with another media company, Tegna. On Thursday, Carr insisted his agency was empowering local stations to respond to the needs of their viewers.
We're in the midst of a massive shift in dynamics in the media ecosystem for lots of reasons. Again, including the permission structure that President Trump's election has provided. And I would simply say we're not done yet.
The president was more explicit about the potential consequences for broadcasters.
They give me only bad publicity for the press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away.
And Nexstar, in a statement, said it had no communication with the FCC or any other government agency before making the decision to pull Jimmy Kimmel Live. Sinclair, another broadcaster, wants an apology from Kimmel and also a donation made to Charlie Kirk's foundation. As for when the show will go back on, if ever, that is still unclear. Though, Tony, there are media reports indicating that Disney is hopeful for its return.
The United States has the most robust speech protections in the world. The First Amendment here is much more rigorous than the protections accorded the average British citizen. That does not excuse Jimmy Kimmel's idiocy on Monday night. And ABC is a private company, and unlike you and I right now, they operate in a regulated world on a broadcast network using the public spectrum. So they have an even higher obligation to the public. But I think what ABC was anticipating is they're going to lose half to three-quarters of their audience, and the advertisers are going to flee because Kimmel simply lied about Charlie's murderer. Exactly. Charlie was assassinated by a left-wing fanatic, and that can be said over and over again, and you can't get away from that. So the decision to suspend and I suspect eventually cancel Kimmel is a business decision by ABC. When FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr came out and made comments about that, all he was doing was underscoring that the FCC has to regulate in the public interest, and ABC licensees have to broadcast in the public interest. Public interest does not include telling lies about left-wing nuts. Now, I don't know that ABC would have lost their license, but I know that ABC was looking at their sponsors more than they were looking at Brendan Carr talking about the FCC's legal responsibility. But our First Amendment, much stronger than Brits, and I'm glad that it is.
You know, I've been trying to think about what the media is going through in the U.S. What is this free speech stress test that we're all experiencing in the U.S.? And I've started to liken it to an elevator. It's like the American media is on an elevator, and it keeps heading downward every day or every week, reaching a new lower floor. Every time a media company gets sued by the president, every time CBS or ABC or another company settles instead of fighting that suit in court, every time Trump threatens a license, the way he did again this afternoon on the way home from the UK, every level, it's another level lower on that proverbial elevator. And we don't know where the bottom is. We don't know how much worse this can get. For a lot of comedians, for a lot of entertainers, seeing Kimmel sidelined is a worst case scenario. But Kimmel can go launch a YouTube live stream right now. He can go launch a new Substack newsletter. You know, he does have other options and other platforms. So we have not reached whatever that bottom might be. But certainly, there is a moment, I think, right now in the U.S. where people are looking around and wondering how much democratic backsliding is going to be tolerated? How much more autocratic will this country become before some change happens? And that's one of the great unknowns right now.
Do they keep going down, allowing it to go down, sinking lower and lower in that elevator you're saying?
It's so unfortunate that some people actually see Jimmy's cancellation as an attack on free speech. Imagine being arrested for a late night show being cancelled. How does that even sound? Is that not weird to the ears? Why would you go violent because of a show was being cancelled? That doesn't even make any sense at all.
Suspect has been arrested. Let's go ahead and bring in ABC's Alex Stone with more on this from California. So Alex, where does this investigation stand right now at this hour, and what does our affiliate say?
Yeah, it was only a couple of hours ago, Gio, that an arrest was made in this. The arrest coming overnight. 64-year-old Anibal Hernandez Santana is the name that Sacramento police have given us for the suspect who was taken into custody overnight. The FBI ended up getting involved in this. It was quite a large manhunt that went on around Sacramento. Our sources saying early on that they had indicators of who the suspect might be, and then they were able to track him down overnight. And according to Sacramento police, they were able to move in and make that arrest. But Gio, they don't know the motive at this point. They say they have no idea what the motive behind this shooting was. Luckily, nobody was in the lobby of the building at ABC 10 that you see right here. The bullets that went through that window that went into the lobby area. There was nobody right there, so nobody was hit. Nobody was injured. The shooter was able to drive away and get away very quickly. But there is a suspect, that 64-year-old man who is in custody right now, being held on a number of charges, Gio.
It's so unfortunate that a 64-year-old man could do this. Why would you be so outraged because your favorite show was being cancelled? That doesn't even make any sense. Is it okay for him to have come on the internet and mock the death of a fellow human being? It's fine if he doesn't like Charlie Kirk, but hating on someone that was being assassinated even after his life was snatched away from him, it's so wrong. And for you to go outraged because your show was cancelled, that was actually whack. What's your thoughts, guys? If we put all this effort, things that's meant to put our efforts in, the country will be good. The world will be in a good place today. But we are not doing that. We aren't. So unfortunate. And why would you be in your right frame of mind, in your senses, and commit such an act because you feel upset your show was being cancelled? That doesn't make any sense. What do you guys think? Because I felt it went overboard. Yeah, and actions do have consequences. Yeah, they do. Till then, I'll see you in the next one. To this.